Happy New Year to everyone, and have I hope everyone enjoyed their Christmas and enjoyed their New Year as well as we've just started the year. Yeah, so Merry Christmas and Happy New Year for those that are still celebrating, and as for us who celebrated the New Year and Christmas, Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to everyone. And welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the first video of 2026 from the last I posted, which was last year, 2025. So just a quick overview of who I am and what I do. Okay, so as you can see, my name is Promise Dingan Lovo, and I'll be explaining what I do for a living as a Zambian ethical hacker, penetration tester, and also a red teamer. So my professional experience is an assistant web penetration tester and ethical hacker at a certain organization that I cannot name due to non-disclosure agreements (NDAs). And I do conduct vulnerability assessments and penetration tests for different organizations. I also use tools like Kali Linux, Nmap, WhatWeb, GoBuster, and many other tools that I was unable to mention. And then I also do documenting findings and recommend security solutions for vulnerabilities and things that I found in the system. And then I also a former head of research and development at the ICTA's NIPA School Chapter Association. I have 3+ years of experience. I started in 2023, and by the end of 2025, that marked my 3 years experience, and it's still ongoing. So that's 3 years and some months now. I also focus on offensive security and risk analysis. Some of my certifications are the Security Risk Management Professional, both at country and regional level. I also have a critical infrastructure protection from Oxford Academy. I also have mental health, work and fire safety officer, something that's of cybersecurity. I have a certification in information security from the Sailor Academy, and I'm also a professional ethical hacker, certified professional ethical hacker from Allison Academy. From Allison Academy. I also have an advanced cybersecurity threats and governance certificate by Great Learning, a free ethical hacker training from Master of Projects, and many of the other certificates, artificial intelligence and career boost with others as well. I also have an introduction to dark web anonymity and cryptocurrency. So basically, I can explain to you what the dark web is, how to access the dark web, how to be anonymous during the dark web, and how to use cryptocurrency securely, and also visiting the dark web in a legal and ethical manner. What my certifications cover, just in a brief, or rather in a nutshell, it covers ethical hacking. So basically, this deals with simulating how attackers would attack an organization and finding problems within the systems and people as well when it comes to ethical hacking. Because ethical hacking is not just about systems; it's also about hacking people's minds. Like so, it's more like manipulation in some point, like the phishing scams that many of us experience. That's another form of hacking. And then also I specialize in dark web intelligence. So basically I can go into the dark web, I can teach them, I can also show you, or rather I can explain to you about what is on the dark web, what is good, what you need to do on the dark web to keep yourself secure, and the sites to visit, as long as you don't do illegal stuff. But to be honest, 90% of the dark web is full of illegal stuff and bad stuff, and many of these things are unfiltered, and there's a special way that you can access it. The other thing is I also specialize in cryptocurrency risks. For those that do trading in cryptocurrency, you need to understand how your currency, your what's this, sorry, your money moves in crypto form through your crypto wallets. I also specialize in security governance, and critical infrastructure protection. So basically, this combination allows me to analyze cyber threats from both an attacker's technical perspective and from an organizational risk and compliance standpoint, which is essential rather for addressing national level security issues and even things from just normal organization day-to-day activities. My key skills are penetration testing. So this is basically finding vulnerabilities when it comes to pen testing in a system or a software that an organization run, and ethical hacking is the simulation of how an attacker will attack an organization, and then at the end you document how an attacker will do that and get access to the systems. I also do vulnerability assessment. This is basically where you check if the software is updated and can it be exploited, or rather can it be used in a hacking scenario, and to check the security posture of the organization. I also do web application security. So what I do as web application security is just finding out how secure the web apps, web applications, and the websites work. Are they secure? Are they not secure? And things like that. And then I also have good leadership and collaboration and a good attention to detail. So what is this video all about, to be honest? So this we are looking at the trends in cybersecurity, mainly focusing on Zambia, but it can also be used for other African countries and also internationally as well. So I just have a few slides with me here where I'll be briefly explaining the issues. So what I'm going to say is the theme rather that we'll be going with is emerging cyber security threats in Zambia with a 2026 outlook, because they has just started. We're not sure what's happened, so we're not sure what's going to happen, any new attacks, any new hacking skills that will come out. But these are the emerging things that are yet to show in the future. And looking at Zambia's vastly growing digital movement, or rather digital infrastructure and digital landscape, we need to start talking about these things other than waiting to be attacked, and then we start to pick up the pieces from there. So my name is Promise Dingan Ndlovu. I'm an ethical hacker, penetration tester, and a red teamer. So why this topic matters? Because we are experiencing rapid digitization in Zambia. We are digitizing a lot of things in Zambia, though there's still a lot to be done. But because a lot of things are going digital, we need to also be able to like understand the threats that come with being digital, especially when it comes to cybersecurity, and it also increases like the attack surface for attackers, or rather bad hackers or bad actors to hack into new organizations and new spaces. And then also when you look at Africa seeing advanced cybercrime growth, there are groups like when you visit the dark web where you're able to see things like very well organized cybercrime groups, and also many other groups in Africa just that are very good with their skills and they are not beginner level. These are people who do understand what they're doing and the techniques behind them. So Zambia's cybersecurity landscape, what is it? So we look at the Cybersecurity and Cybercrimes Act of both 2021 and 2025. So this one just basically provides rules, regulations, and laws as to cyber or what to do while doing cyber security and the cyber crimes, like for how we're going to um, deal with cyber criminals. We also look at the Zambia CERT, which is the which is the. So we also look at the Zambia. It's supposed to be CIRT, not CERT. So it is the Zambia Computer Incident Response Team. So I made a mistake on the E there. And we have ZICTA, Zambia Information Communication Technology Agency or Authority. And then we also have the Smart Zambia Digital Infrastructure. So these things are also factors that implement or are showing signs in Zambia that we are really going digital, and cybersecurity is one thing that we must focus on. And then we look at the threat evolution. So what is this? Because now a lot of us are using artificial intelligence, it means that even ethical hackers and cybersecurity professionals at large are using AI driven attacks. So this is where now you tell the AI to create certain phishing links, or maybe a code or a program to run to deceive people with things like deepfakes. So because of this, it means that a lot of attacks this year of 2026 will be AI driven attacks, and very few of them will be manual due to the popularity of artificial intelligence. AI is good, but in the wrong hands, it's deadly. And then it also improves, like we look at organized cybercrime. Aside from artificial intelligence driven attacks, we have organized cybercrime. So these are crime groups that are very well organized, like the same way we have organizations that do good cybersecurity, and there is a process and procedures. Same thing with this organized cybercrime. They have a structure as to how these attacks are conducted, and that's one thing we need to look for in Zambia especially. And then the other thing that is, because of this AI, we're going to see a lot of people with little to no skill or low skill, and we're going to have high impact models, meaning we're going to have a serious problem with less skilled individuals. But what happens is the impact of damage to infrastructure and the digital landscape will be high. And then when you look at threat one, we look at ransomware as a service. This is where like they lock down your PC, and then they get your software and encrypt it. Rather, they get the information on your laptop, your phone, or desktop, and they encrypt it. So encrypt it just to make it into let's say a computer language that you can't understand unless it is decrypted back to ordinary text. So when it's ransomware as a service, typically they sell this ransomware. So because a ransomware, usually the normal version of ransomware or the history of ransomware is they encrypt and they ask you for payment. But ransomware is a service where these cyber criminals and cyber crime groups are going to now create a ransomware software, and then they'll sell it as a service to other cyber crime groups. And this is usually done to target governments and finance institutions. Yeah, and also this uh, comes in as a thing of like state-sponsored hacking to other countries, and also cyber criminals do the same thing at a different level. So this is going to be expected to grow in 2026. I put by 2026 because I originally prepared this in 2025. So since this is the year 2026, we'll have to expect such threats of ransomware as a service with these hacking groups that are on the rise, especially in Africa. So what is RAS, or ransomware as a service, and what is its impact in Zambia? So it's going to cause system downtime. Basically, what it's going to mean, what it does is your system will be slow, you will lose money, and you won't be your businesses or the functions of the country won't be as effective as it should be. We're also going to have data leaks, meaning people's credentials, passwords, usernames, emails, and things will be leaked. And we look at financial losses, especially when it comes to banks and education institutions, and research facilities with sensitive financial issues, but mostly targets banks. So financial losses are going to be a big impact when it comes to ransomware as a service. And then the second threat, according to my research, is AI powered phishing. So this is personalized phishing, making it to look real to the human eye, especially if you don't pay attention. It's going to look so real and convincing that you think it's an actual organization. In actual terms, it's AI that generated that phishing attempt. like the SMSs that you receive. Maybe it would be like, okay, NRC, we need your NRC to maybe be admitted at a certain university, or to join a certain uh, like maybe there's a job vacancy and job advertisements going on around, and they take advantage of that. So that's some of the phishing. Sometimes maybe people call you to say, oh no, there's a message, try to respond to this, and things like that. And then we also have fake invoices and job offers. So in one of my videos that I created for ECZ, it was talking about it was exploiting rather people's trust, using trusted organizations for an ECZ job offer that didn't exist. So if you can kindly watch that video, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. And then it increases a main entry point for breaches, because a lot of us, or a lot of organizations are moving into using AI powered softwares. So even AI powered cybercrime and hacking is going to go in and creating a major or main entry point for security breaches in organizations. And it's not just all about organizations, even you as people are at risk if we're not careful as individuals. The other threat is, or threat number three, and again, according to my research, is deepfake attacks. So, what are these deepfake attacks? So, this is where it's going to mimic a voice and a video, or impersonating someone. Let's say this deepfake is impersonating maybe a popular individual, like one of the videos for Elon Musk, where it was showing that he was doing some cocaine in actual sense, where it was not. But when you pay attention properly, you can tell that it's an AI. But if you didn't really pay attention, you would think the video is actually good. And this video actually made a lot of people lose money, because it also involved cryptocurrency, and people put money. It turns out it was an attacker's thing, and the hacker made money. Unfortunately, the person was not found and is still in hiding. But this is just to show you that things are increasing, especially with digital age and the digital infrastructure. And then we also need to look at fraud and disinformation risks. So a lot of fraud is going to go on, and a lot of misinformation is going to go on as well. This is why in Zambia we have the Cybersecurity and Cybercrimes Act of 2021 and also of 2025, that will guide and explain on how to handle these things, how to be secure and everything. And this is why we need to have organizations in terms of cybersecurity to step up to at least minimize and avoid certain risks, and reduce the attack surface to at least keep a digital safe. Because to be honest, online you are not 100% safe, but you can do things that at least make you a little bit more safer than most individuals. And what is threat number four? So threat number four is supply chain attacks. So with supply chain attacks, this is where now we have vendor compromise. So this is where now, you know how you have third-party softwares like for startups, small and medium scale enterprises, and also big organizations. We have like Windows. We trust Windows when using. So imagine Windows or Microsoft, let's say Microsoft gets hacked for, and it's the one, and the software that Microsoft produces is the one that the organization uses. So by that, it disrupts how things move, especially when it comes to supply chain, because the vendor will produce something, supply the software, and the organizations will be able to use third-party software. But if that vendor, let's say Microsoft, has been hacked, it means all those organizations using its product will also be affected. And then we also look at software update abuse. So this is where now the update for software is abused, basically saying this is when you don't update your softwares. Whenever you have an update and you delay that, already an attacker, once they find out that you have not updated, they can find what we call vulnerabilities or weaknesses in the software. And then when they provide an update, it's for new features and also for security features as well. And when you don't update it, attackers can take advantage of that. And then it can also increase high impact breaches, like bringing down whole economies just because of this same supply chain attack. So it breaks down a lot of things and it can cause global outage. Yeah. And threat number 5 is crypto fraud and laundering. So this is where we have crypto investments, which is basically like fake crypto investments. So we have crypto mining and things like that, cross-border laundering. But instead of this being a physical operation now, because of Bitcoin, I'm not saying Bitcoin is bad, I'm saying Bitcoin is good actually, because it helps you understand cryptocurrency and helps you hold money in a much more secure way. But with cyber criminals, it is used for a little bit more of anonymity, and somehow you can't really trace the owner of that transaction. So a lot of these are used, and fake crypto investments that look very convincing. One of the threats that will happen. Let's look at cross-border laundering. So the other thing is, because of a cryptocurrency, there is no need for you to now launder actual cash through the border, passing through the police. Now you have to pass through the digital police, which is basically now maybe your organization or the national security department that is in charge of ensuring that no fraud happens online. So we also have a lot, because Zambia already is affected. Why? Because some of these organizations have been affected with crypto miners, and a lot of people and jump into doing cryptocurrency without really understanding the risks of cybersecurity and the things that come with it. When you look at threat number 6, advanced persistent threats. So advanced persistent threats, these are state-sponsored hackers. These are hackers with powerful tools that the government pays for, and also allows them to like have an added advantage towards another nation with these cybersecurity tools. So in some of the documentaries you'll find on YouTube, you'll find out that, oh, when you look at the Russia-Ukraine war, you do find out that on the documentaries on YouTube, just for reference sake, they'll say that Russia actually did some cyber attack before the actual ground attack. So even warfare itself is going into cybersecurity before actual groundwork is done. So this is where these state-sponsored hackers take very long. So they're very stealthy and they're very patient. They don't attack like normal hackers who rush to, like, once they find the vulnerability, they want to make money off it there and then. But these ones are state sponsored, mean they're intentional, they have a mission, they have an objectives, and they have goals. So they know what they want, how they want it, and when they want it. So this is another trait that we face as well. Yeah, so this is why they're very this is a threat as well. As we are digitizing, we need to look at these threats. So far we've gone through 6 threats that I've observed from my 3 years of experience and ongoing. As you can see that there is a lot to do in the cyber field, and also when you look at African countries, the cybersecurity field is still growing and has a lot of room for growth and development. And then we also look at these advanced persistent threats. They also target governments and telecoms. So telecoms are basically your internet service providers. For some of us in Africa, you have Glo, you have MTN, Airtel, you also have Samtel, and for in foreign countries, you have AT&T and others. And then why why Zambia is a target, or why is Zambia a target? It's because number one, we have a growing digital economy. So many people are now active mobile users. Everyone, according to a statistic by Zifta, it showed that compared to last year, 2022 or 2021, I stand to be corrected. The mobile growth in 2024 and to 2025 increased from 2.2 million users to about 6.8, if I'm not mistaken. I still stand to be corrected. I'm not sure about the figures. Million mobile users, with many people going online and digital with these smartphones and everything. We also have a strategic regional role, meaning we are land linked from landlocked. We are also a land linked country. So, I mean, even the softwares we use are foreign. Very few of the software that we use are not Zambian, and that already puts us at risk. Also, the other thing is, well, because of the strategic regional role we have to play in the continent, cybersecurity becomes or cybercrime makes, or rather, we become a target as well. And then we also have, or we need to note what sectors are at high risk. So the sectors that are at a very high risk are the government itself. We also have banking and mobile money with these phishing scams. Yeah, and we also look at energy and telecoms. These are the areas where a lot of cybercrime happens, and this is the places where we really need to add more focus to it and move very much away from too much theory and be more practical and be able to not just adapt but to stay ahead of the trends and cyber criminals. The cyber criminals don't rest, and so should we as ethical hackers, cybersecurity professionals, and even those of us that are not cyber security professionals. Just as an individual, keeping yourself secure also is cybersecurity on its own. You don't have to be specialized in cybersecurity for it to take care or be cyber hygiene online. So what are the technical defenses that we can use as at now? We can have offline backups for whether it's personal, organizational, or even government institutions and the government itself. We also need to implement MFA, which is multi-factor authentication, and EDR, endpoint detection and response. So multi-factor authentication just helps us at least keep our account secure. So when you log in, then it's going to tell you, okay, use your fingerprint or your PIN, and then now you also need to have a pass key and you add your email. That is like a brief example of how I can say is a multi-factor authentication. And then we need to look at endpoint detection and response. So this is now for organizations, both private and public and government as well, to like be able to monitor the endpoints, like where are the internet traffic's coming from, where are these threats coming from. So as instead of the attacker gaining access into the organizations, they get stopped at the entry point of where they're trying to enter from. And then we need to look at patch management. So whenever we find a vulnerability is basically a weakness in a system. So patch management is basically fixing that vulnerability. And then we need to look at governance controls. So these governance controls, we need to be always doing awareness training. We need to have incident response plans, like in case of cases like maybe an attack happens, what do we do during that situation? And then we also look at vendor risk management. How do we minimize, like if our vendors or our trusted source of software um, applications or products and services, if they get hacked, how do we prevent that from affecting the business itself? And then when you look at the role of national institutions like the Zambia, sorry again, I made the mistake, it's supposed to be CIRT, Zambia CIRT, which is the Computer Incident Response Team. And then we also have ZICTA and the Police Cyber Division. The Police Cyber Division deals with cybercrime and digital fraud and and digital forensics investigations. And ZICTA deals with the national security and everything. And the Zambia Computer Incident Response Team deals with incident responses and cybersecurity threats that are threatening the country. And then what do we have to look at now? The key takeaways from what we learned from this is that the threats are smarter and faster, meaning a lot of threats due to AI technology always improving. and people always coming up with new ideas. It means the threats are also becoming smarter. They're adapting and also improving in their skills, and they're becoming faster. I mean, technology is expanding, and the speed of the internet becomes even fast, and we need to respond and adapt as well, and try to be always ahead of attackers. And then we also need to look at we need to rather be proactive in defense as it is essential as offense as well. So if we can defend, then we can also prevent. Uh, yeah, if we can defend, if we can defend, we can also prevent issues, we can prevent accidents, and we can and by defending proactively, we get to minimize the risks. So if we can defend well, we can mitigate risks, and we can also be able to capture these criminals at their own game. And because of that, we can also use defense in depth, not just on the surface level, but going deep into defending and finding out what are the points of entry that an attacker can go into. So yeah, just to look at just for a conclusion of this video, the 2026, my very first video. I'll be posting another one in the coming weeks. I don't always post like every week due to some commitments that I have. So we need to invest in cybersecurity, not just in Zambia, but in Africa as well, because this is the next big target. Africa is the next big target. Why? Because cybersecurity is still a developing field and we don't have much. And also, we need to look at being more proactive in building national cyber resilience, meaning the nation itself must be aware of these cyber threats, both from individual, government, organizational level. It doesn't matter how old you are or how long you've been in government, building national cyber resilience is really important for us to have a good, effective national defense on in the cyberspace. And this was the video for today, as the time being recorded. So I hope you enjoyed and I hope you learned one or two things. And this is for educational purposes. My name is Promise Tinganelovo. I am an ethical hacker, penetration tester, and a red teamer. Thank you and bye bye. See you next time.